and right after this story dropped, the lawyers for Joe Biden reached out to the repair shop to try to get the laptop back. And they have all the documents showing the emails and the because the repair guy is totally like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
So he like recorded everything. Like they were trying to get the laptop back. So if there was no laptop ever dropped off there, why would they try to get it back? Because it came from there. Like, that's how they got it.
Well, I don't know what they could have put on the laptop.
And it's all because fucking Hunter Biden's a crackhead and probably was high and forgot that he even dropped it off there. And that's why why this all happened.
Well, but I mean, you sell the laptop to Rudy Giuliani? Like, it's just fishy and suspicious.
Hey, he just got... He got unlucky that his high ass dropped it off at a Trump supporter who owns a computer repair shop.
I guess.
Like, that's all it is. It was just the luck of the draw. But it doesn't change the fact that the information's real that's on there.
So what's actually on there that is implicating any illegal activity for Joe Biden?
So what Joe Biden was doing is he actually took Hunter Biden on Air Force 2 when he was vice president to China with him, and dropped him off there while he went and met with the president of, or Xi or Yi or whatever his name is. But there's emails going back and forth between Hunter Biden and the owner or the CEO of this energy company in China.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they were doing it is that half of the money that Hunter Biden got paid was Joe Biden's money. But all of it went into the name of Hunter Biden, because there's even a part on there where it says Hunter's going to hold 10% equity in the company for the big guy, which is Joe Biden. He's holding 10% of the equity for Joe Biden because Joe Biden can't do that while he's vice president. Yep. And then also, if you look at his income, right after he left being vice president, his income went through the roof. That's why he paid so much money in taxes last year, because he willingly released his tax returns to show how much money he paid, because he made a ton of money, because all those investments that he made with Hunter Biden and these other countries come due now that he's not vice president anymore. He was doing the same shit that Clintons were doing, basically.
Well, you might not be wrong there. They did have a big jump in net income.
They were selling their office. And then the funny thing is the Clinton Foundation has no new donations coming into the Clinton Foundation anymore, and I wonder why, because she's not a candidate for president.
Yeah. Yeah. No way.
They were selling their office.
Well,
and he did the same thing in Ukraine, and the wife of there was the mayor of Moscow. His wife gave Hunter Biden $3.5 million, and basically he was holding that $3.5 million to give to
big guy.
Yeah.
So did he smoke it up?
Well, no, because there's other emails. Because literally, I mean, this is his whole hard drive. So they said there's like 60,000 some emails that they were going through.
Why would he save emails on a hard drive? Shouldn't they be in the cloud?
I don't know. But he was having there was a email exchange back and forth between Hunter Biden and his daughter, I think it was, and she was asking him for money, and he was basically saying, I don't have any money to give you, because all of it goes to his dad.
So did they hack into his email account?
No, they just got the actual laptop itself.
There are no emails on any laptop.
Well, you could open...
Why would anybody save their emails? Like, it's too much. Like, nobody saves their emails on their laptop. If
you like already have your passwords populated, like already.
So they went into his account, his email account.
Yeah.
They didn't find it on the laptop. They stole his information on the laptop. He must have some, if he has some kind of automatic sign in, they just stole the information. That's not the same thing as he was stupid enough to just leave a bunch of stuff on his computer. That's not the same thing.
Well, see, I don't know.
And even with the Hillary and the emails, it was like, get her computer, and she had these servers and stuff. It's like, well, okay, that would kind of make sense if the server held the email account, but you don't got an email account on your laptop. That goes to Google or Yahoo or somebody, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, but there's all kinds of evidence on that laptop, and they went through, because I was watching this thing with Rudy Giuliani, and he said before they were going to release everything, they got all kinds of lawyers involved to make sure that they were all on the up and up, because they knew that they were going to try to say this was hacked information. So that they covered their ass on all of this. Like the stuff where what WikiLeaks was sharing, like in the Iraq War when they were torturing people and everything.
Yeah.
That was all hacked information that WikiLeaks released, but it was true information. They really were doing that stuff.
Yeah. See, the thing is, when you're dealing with the American government, doesn't matter if you're in the right or the wrong, as long as it's seen to be illegal, you're in trouble.
Yeah. But see, but this, I think the whole big picture point of all this is, they tried to impeach Trump over Ukraine, but a lot of Biden's business dealings were in Ukraine, and it was because they knew that he was getting close to exposing what Biden was doing in Ukraine.
Who, Trump?
Yes.
So he's
Trump,
like a detective, and he was like on the case, trying to find out what was going on with Biden in Ukraine. He's like Sherlock Holmes.
No. They've had this laptop for over a year now. So they already had the information.
But the impeachment is way before a year ago. That's 4 years. That's 3.5 years ago. That's 4 years ago.
No. The impeachment was just this past summer.
They've been talking about impeaching Trump from the campaign because he keeps on saying they were hacking me at Trump Tower. That's
they've been
4 years ago.
But when they actually,
the impeachment hearings didn't occur until last year. But they've been wanting to impeach him for what he did 4 years ago or 5 years ago, with Michael Flynn and all that stuff.
Yeah, when they claimed that he was working with the Russians, which also more information came out about that, where that whole thing with the Russians was a way to divert the attention off of Hillary Clinton's emails that got released during the election.
But why would they have to do that? Because nobody cares about Hillary Clinton's emails except people that ain't voting for her anyway. It
was in the middle of an election. It was looking really bad for her, so she wanted to try to change the news cycle and switch it up. And Brennan, who was the head of the CIA, was telling the FBI, hey, you know this is all fake information, right? Like, it was all fake about the Russian ties with Trump. But when Trump was talking to the Ukrainian president about Joe Biden, they immediately tried to impeach him over that. That's what they actually filed impeachment against, was when he talked to the Ukrainian president. But the only reason why they did that is because they knew Biden was actually guilty of what Trump was looking into.
Yeah, but it's hard to.
It was a way to shut up the investigation, or to make it so it never came out.
Yeah, but the thing is, Chris, when you're talking, it's hard to know if any of it is credible, if any of it is right or real, because you intermingle in conspiracy.
It's not. They really did impeach him over Ukraine, and there really is all kinds of business dealings in Ukraine that were illegal that the Bidens were involved in.
But there are none that Trump was involved in.
What?
But there are no illegal dealings, and there's no dealing with Russia as far as Trump is concerned. The only reason he was involved with Russia was so that he could catch the Bidens.
He was never involved with Russia. That was all fake. There was never. Mueller went through how many years trying to find it, and he couldn't find anything on it.
He never said he never found anything on him.
he couldn't find anything with ties to Russia.
That is not true. There's nothing
and he can do, when he was a citizen, he could have business dealings in Russia as a citizen before he was president. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's something wrong with that.
If I could go over, if somehow I could get some kind of gigantic business deal with Russia right now as me, I could do that.
And if 5 years from now you run for office and your enemy is Russia, that's conflict of interest.
Yes, but if I end those business dealings, then who cares?
If we don't know what he's ended, he said
we don't know.
He said I turned everything over to my son and daughter, so now they're in business with him, right?
Yeah, we don't know.
So that's not ended.
But
we don't know because he doesn't tell us anything.
Yeah, I agree.
He's hiding stuff.
But we know for 100% fact that Biden was doing illegal business dealings while he was the vice president of the country in Russia, or not in Ukraine. And when Trump asked Ukraine about this information, they impeached him because they were trying to shut up exposing all the stuff that Biden was doing.
So Trump is trying to do the right thing and not have him arrested before election, not put the Department of Justice on him.
What?
Trump has the power to put the Department of Justice on Joe Biden. So why doesn't he?
He doesn't have the power to arrest him.
Yes, he does. You start an investigation, you get the Attorney General, and you build a case.
The actual FBI or...
Yeah, you're in charge, basically. You say, hey, give me a case.
Yeah, the optics of that would look so terrible.
Why would he ever care about optics? Everything he does looks terrible. He doesn't care about his reputation. He doesn't want to look honest. He doesn't care. Why didn't he do it?
Before the election.
It would be very Trump-like, and nobody would be surprised.
You want to talk about civil war? That's civil war right there.
He's not leaving office if he loses. That's civil war. I mean,
we don't know that. But I'm just saying, dude, that the Bidens, there's not much different between Biden and Hillary Clinton, and there's not much difference between Donald Trump either. They're all part of the same clique, same crew. That's why they know each other so well, because they all used to hang out at the same dinner parties. These people made their wealth and their money off of being in government. That's what everybody in government is doing. So if we eliminate everybody that's making money off of working in government, we don't have a government tomorrow. Which is not supposed to be the way it's supposed to work. But it's been that for a very long time. How are these people making like $170,000 a year, but they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars? Yeah, Mitch McConnell's worth several $1 million, and it's like you never made more than $200,000 a year. Yeah, no, I agree. It's all fucked up. But Trump has not spent his entire life in politics. And these so that makes him better because he's the president now and he can use it for the rest of his life and he can set his kids up. Money. Huh? He already made his money before he got into office. We don't know that Trump has made any money. Trump said he's $400 million in the hole. We don't know that Trump has ever made any money. I don't believe he's got any money, to be honest with you. I believe it's a front. It's all a show. So from the 80s till I think he lost it all. I think he lost it. I think his dad gave him a whole bunch of money to start with, and he built a bunch of stuff, and he borrowed a whole bunch of money to buy everything. But I don't think any of these businesses create streams of income. I think he had a hot streak when Reagan was in office, but I think it was over in the 90s. Yeah, I don't know, but I know for a fact any money that he made was not made off of being in politics his entire life. All these other people, that's how they made all their money, because that's what they've done their entire lives is being in politics. Well, I don't like that either. I don't like that. And I'm not saying it's just the Democrats. It's Republicans do the same shit too. It's all fucked up. Yeah. The system is a mess, and it's not good for anybody. But this is why I don't think that that Biden has a chance of winning, because this is so similar to what Hillary went through, and she didn't win. You think that's why she lost? She was crooked as shit, and people knew it.
I don't think
And
that's why she lost.
she was not likable. She was crooked as hell.
Well, I give you not likable. I think the reason she lost is because she wasn't likable. I think that Donald Trump being a pseudo celebrity is what took him over the top. And the fact that she wasn't likable and she wasn't endearing cost her the election. Hey, by the way, I'm recording this. So this will probably be our episode, to be honest with you. Because I can't find that, that healthcare stuff. It wasn't that good anyway, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I know I'm not smart enough for all that stuff.
But this is better content.
Yeah.
This is like unfiltered and kind of raw.
Yeah, I just think not being
too early to drink a beer, man.
I'm not drinking a beer.
Oh, Keurig making coffee.
No, I'm sweeping a floor right now.
Oh.
But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I just don't see him having a chance after all of this. I mean, you have to have people excited now. The left is excited because they want to get rid of Trump, but they're not actually excited about Joe Biden himself.
Nobody is. He's nothing to be excited about.
Yeah, and I don't think that's enough to push people to actually get out there and vote. I think it's enough to get people to make tweets and to share things on Facebook and talk bad about him, but I don't think it's enough to really energize everybody to get out there, wait in those long lines, and to really get out there and vote for a man that they really don't like that much.
Yeah. I'm not volunteering my time to help Joe Biden and Kamala Harris under any circumstance. I mean, and you talk about unlikable. They're both very unlikable people. Like, I don't know who's more unlikable, Kamala or Hillary.
Oof. And see, and that's who you really are voting for. I mean, if you want to have yeah, he ain't gonna make it no 8 years. I mean, he might be able to make it 4,
maybe.
But usually, when you have a president come in there, ideally you want him to be in there for 8 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Reagan presidency. Somebody else is gonna be calling the shots after about year 2 or so. If somebody ain't calling the shots on day 1, he likes to say that. On day one. Day one.
The way I don't think he's been calling the shots at all. I mean, the fact that she's even his vice president, I don't think was his choice. I don't think he wanted her. I mean, look at the way that she went at him in the debates. You think he's going to be like, oh yeah, you called me racist, you called me all this stuff, and
now we're friends. Things. We love each other.
Yeah. Meat carcass walking through.
Well, if we knew who I think Obama is calling a lot of these things, but I think he has a puppet master too. So I think Obama is being directed to kind of steer the car, so to speak, of the Democratic Party. I don't think it's a coincidence that before Super Tuesday, all the candidates that dropped out got a phone call from Barack Obama. And then when Bernie Sanders finally dropped out the race the day before that, he had a phone call from Barack Obama.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a coincidence that Kamala Harris gets picked as the vice presidential candidate. I think that, because there's no reason why you would think that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris could work together. Because I don't even think if you want to win the election, I don't think she's your best option. You would have probably went with maybe the second or third best option who lasted in the election campaign, right? Like, she dropped out very early, so why not pick somebody that lasted longer? Like a Tulsi Gabbard, like a Elizabeth Warren, like a Bernie Sanders, which he's old as hell too, so he won't help, but even a Pete Buttigieg or something like that. You know, somebody that lasted longer than she did, because she didn't make it very long. And they all fit those categories of intersectionality and all that crap.
She had a lot of weight behind her in the very beginning, too.
Yeah.
but it just didn't work out in the primary. She didn't.
People don't like her.
Yeah.
People didn't want her to be president, and she slipped in through the back door. And I think she made a deal early, and I think that's why she dropped out when she did. Because I thought she actually was one of the more promising of the candidates. If you say maybe like 4, I think top 4 were Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and her. And she dropped out even way before all the other candidates who never had a chance. So I was always thinking like, yeah, she already like set herself up for vice president. And it was her. It was between her and that chick in Minnesota.
Yeah, Klobuchar.
Klobuchar.
But yeah, Tulsi Gabbard just totally kneecapped her in that debate.
Yeah,
when she brought up everything that she did, and after that, I think it wasn't much longer after that she dropped right out.
Yeah, she was gone. Remember, she had some kind of issues with her campaign, and people quit, and they left. But maybe she told them like it's over. But yeah, like right after that, she was having issues with her campaign, like people weren't getting along and stuff, and people were jumping ship on her.
Yeah, ain't that crazy? So she was the powers that be. She was their pick in the very beginning, and then she drops out early, and somehow she still might find a way to become president.
Yeah, that's very savvy.
With not, and on top of that, with doing terrible in the primaries, not getting hardly any votes, and somehow she could still weasel her way into actually the presidency. This is like a House of Cards episode.
That is crazy. It's definitely House of Cards.
Yeah. Remember Frank? He became president. Nobody ever cast a vote for that man ever.
And that's how Claire slipped in too. It's like, all right, Frank. She turned on him, and it's like, all right, Frank's dead, so now I'm president.
you don't need to be voted into office to become president.
I never even thought of it like that. She playing House of Cards. If you haven't seen House of Cards, you need to watch House of Cards. I'm not talking to you, but I'm talking about the listener, because I think we got to use this as our episode this week.
Yeah, that's an amazing show.
Yeah, great show. I don't know if it's coming back though. Kevin Spacey and all that. He didn't go to jail, did he?
I don't think he went to jail, but I mean, just publicly shamed and.
You think he's ashamed?
Well, publicly shamed. Like,
how long do you think it'll last, though? You think he's gone forever? I mean, usually people get forgiveness. They forgive people in a lot of cases, and they let them come back. You think he'll be back?
Eventually, I mean, he was that show. Without him, it's not going to work.
I didn't think much of it after he left, to be honest with you. It wasn't that good. It wasn't as good. I watched it.
I'll be honest, I didn't even watch it after he left.
Yeah, I still watched it, but after they killed him off, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same.
Yeah, he got Me Too'd by men.
Boys.
Yeah. So.
It is what it is. Yeah. Oh, I gotta ask you one more thing. Why'd you post that thing about Ice Cube?
What?
About Ice Cube working with Trump. Did you read the article?
I did not read the whole article.
You gotta quit doing that, man. The headline is so misleading, and it will lead you to think that it's actually true. And then they go in the article and they tell you everything we just said is absolutely false.
Yeah. Now, I mean, yeah, after looking into it, I've considered it, essentially. But it doesn't mean that he's actually
working with them on a plan. Yeah. And they went nuts on it.
Yeah.
Everybody went nuts.
But if the Trump team does actually implement what Ice Cube's trying to do, that is still a good thing, even if it is the Trump team that put it in.
Yes, it is.
So.
Yes, if anything gets accomplished that he's trying to push, it's a win. Absolutely. No matter who does it. So, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be a good thing.
The whole plan isn't essentially, it's about getting access to capital. That's really what it's about. It's not about
from that perspective, from the political perspective. But his plan, like, encompasses private sector, public sector, and all kinds of little different nooks and crannies and stuff. But yeah, from the political perspective, it's access to capital. Yeah.
Which in turn gives you the ability to start a business and employ other people as well.
And build and community building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is so much better than a government handout. Like, if we can, we can get
everything. Everything's a government handout.
That's not really. I mean, if you can get access to capital, it doesn't mean that they're giving you a business. They're giving you the opportunity to build it, and if it is successful, you do have to pay back the loans, which I see nothing wrong with that.
Well,
that is awesome.
Well, I believe that everything that any dollar that you get from the government, it's a handout. It's just who they decide to hand it to.
And unfortunately, they give it to the.
But I don't feel like there should be some kind of a stigma for getting money from the government if we all pay into the government anyway. It's ours to begin with. So if you get something for the money you put in, I don't feel like there's anything to be ashamed of. For being, like, if you pay property tax, your road should be fixed. I don't think when you go and ask the mayor to fix your street, I don't think there's any shame in saying, like, all right, we got a government handout. They handed out some money for us to get our street fixed. No, we paid taxes, so you should fix our street. So I don't think it's like begging or nothing like that. It's like, no, we all put money into the system, so we should be able to take something out of it.
No, I agree. And I'm not saying it's begging. I think doing it this way is a lot more productive and better use of resources than just you get a check every month. I think this is something that can actually build something lasting.
But the only people who get a check every month are his plan is like designed for black people, but white people are the people who take advantage of that. Give me a check every month.
No, I agree. I'm not trying to make this a white or black thing. I'm just saying I think this is a better use of resources. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I like his. I'm not gonna say I love his plan. Ice Cube's. I sure don't hate it. I think I give him a whole lot of credit for doing anything. But when you look at Trump's plan, I don't know that they took much and actually implemented Ice Cube's plan. So that's where it becomes a little bit misleading too. It's like, why would you say you're working with Ice Cube, but then you didn't take any aspect or implement any part of his plan? From what I saw, maybe they did somewhere, maybe it's hiding somewhere. But the platinum plan, the platinum chain, Rhino Dubs plan, the Rhino 22s with wood grain leather seats plan. Could you be more 90s stereotypic than that? The bling bling plan.
Called the 5.0 plan.
The Jay-Z and Weezy plan. I can't believe they called it that. Not gold. Does anybody do they even still have platinum jewelry? Is that even a thing anymore?
I'm too old to know, so I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you've been to a jewelry store or something and bought your wife something nice.
I'm a working man, Greg. I can't afford jewelry.
Man, you sit on your ass right now, man. You ain't working. Yep. All right, we down to the last 50 seconds on this 30 minutes, so I'm gonna cut it off. All right.
Right.
I'm gonna hit stop.